David was hunting and clearly aimed at a deer, but after the gunshot, it was a little boy who fell to the ground. This instantly left David frozen in place. In order to understand the truth, he hurried over to check the situation. However, the boy's father arrived at that moment. Looking at his son's lifeless body on the ground, he was devastated and aimed his gun at David. No matter how David explained, he wouldn't lower the gun. Just when David thought he was going to die, the boy's father suddenly collapsed to the ground. It was his friend Jack, who had arrived in time, shooting him down. This sudden turn of events completely shattered David. Jack, however, remained unusually calm. He quickly hid the two bodies, dragged the dazed David away from the scene. But no one expected an even bigger storm was brewing. To create an alibi, the two went to a nearby convenience store to chat with some people. They stayed until late at night, then quietly returned to the scene. After burying the bodies, they carefully cleaned up all traces. They then escaped back to the motel overnight, planning to leave the place the next morning. However, the next morning, they found that their tires had been intentionally damaged. Realizing something was wrong, they quickly went downstairs to ask about it. It turned out that a few days ago, they had upset a man's daughter and took her away, not returning until the next morning. The angry man came to seek revenge. During their struggle, the village chief intervened, and the two narrowly escaped. But because the tires were completely ruined, they had to go to a repair shop. While packing the trunk, David accidentally dropped the tools used to clean up the scene. Fortunately, the mechanic didn't notice him at the time. Since the car wouldn't be ready until the next day, to avoid suspicion, the two went to a bar to drink away their worries. But unexpectedly, they learned from the man that the bodies of the father and son had already been discovered. The two immediately panicked, and could only hope that the car would be fixed quickly so they could escape. That evening, at the bonfire party in the village chief suddenly invited them to join the search team. To avoid suspicion, the two pretended to stay calm and agreed. They could only secretly pray they wouldn't head into that forest, but the team went straight toward the burial site. Even worse, some people had brought hunting dogs. The two could only look for an opportunity to escape at any moment. But at that moment, the hunting dog suddenly started barking wildly toward the burial site. Realizing things were about to be exposed, the two turned and ran toward where their car was parked. When the villagers realized something was wrong, they immediately began chasing after them. Fortunately, the man's shooting was off, and the two barely managed to escape. But just as they breathed a sigh of relief, the car suddenly broke down. Panicked, the two could only hide in the forest, but the hunting dog quickly picked up their scent and charged toward them.